We had to do some demo of the carpet, countertops, and sink, painted the cabinets, we painted the interior. We had to do some window repairs. Actually, that hasn't happened yet, so we'll probably see the broken windows. And then we have some curb appeal items, you know, just some things to spruce it up on the outside. There's some deck repairs on the back, as we'll see here, some exterior carpentry repairs. There's some gutter repairs that needed to happen. And then you know, we put this budget on pretty much every property, carpentry, interior repairs, but we leave a budget on because we know those things are gonna come up. Most of the time when people are buying houses that need rehabs as a real estate investor, they're thinking that they need to put their hard hat on and they're gonna have to learn all kinds of construction and be on the job site daily to make the project work. But sometimes they're a heck of a lot easier. So here's the window that I was talking about. And obviously, you know, they didn't scrape all this because they're just gonna replace that pane of glass. You know, these are all nice and clean here. And I really like what they did here. You know, they used pressure treated wood, so it's gonna be weather safe. They used a, you know, just tongue and groove here to save a little bit of dough, and it looks really nice. You know, it looks like they kept some of the original, but you know, it's just like this. When you walk up to this house, I mean, it's got a nice feeling to it. You know, it's got a little bit of character to it, and they did it in the most cost savings way possible. And you know, a lot of people say something like, well, it's cutting corners. Well, yeah, now I don't have to charge as much for rent, so that's nice, right? You know, but I love that we had them paint, and they were, because I don't think I specifically put this on the scope of work, and this is why it's so important to work with the same contractors, to where you can build a relationship with them and they actually care about the outcome of the project. And so, you know, these guys obviously masked off and kept this wood look because they knew that would look better than just painting all of this white. And you know, that's great stuff for something that I missed. Brand new LVP throughout, looks very nice. They painted these cabinets, new butcher block. I don't really like that there's a gap back here, but I don't know necessarily what we'd do because can't really get pushed back any further. So we'd have to actually move. There's probably an electrical, you know, where the stove plugs in back there. And a lot of times those come up in the floor, and there's actually a spot like on the underneath side of a range for it to push back and be all the way to the wall. But I bet you this one's on the wall. It was probably put there for the original stove, and at some point it got changed. So that'd be a pretty expensive little inch to grab there. But this looks great, you know, for minimal cost. You know, it's hard to say exactly how much this kitchen cost, but we did a backsplash tile, probably a few $100. We did a butcher block, probably, you know, between those two things, maybe $1,000, and then painted the cabinets and put in a new, put in the new hardware, obviously the floors. But you know, the thing about a project like this, and really all of our projects, there are 3 different types of contractors that you would use, and we're always trying to think about how we get the most cost efficiencies in a project. And so 3 different types. One is a specific job contractor. That's like a roofer or a person that does nothing but siding or nothing but windows, or they only do LVP flooring. They're painters. That's a specific job contract. Also like an HVAC guy or an electrician or a plumber. And then you have what I call a handyman. A handyman is not exactly like you would think of a handyman. It's really, I see them as like the highest value contractor out there. They actually know how to do everything, and they're really good at it. They're also really expensive. So you really only want to have a handyman, as I call it, come out when you need a problem solved. You know, something to be taken care of that is blocking the project from moving forward. That's when I'd have a handyman come out. And really for us at this point, that's our internal crew. Those are the guys that we actually have on payroll. They know how to do everything, and they break bottlenecks for us across all of the projects that we're on. And then the final type is what we call the all-arounder, and this is really the type of contractor we use the most. These are guys that can do everything from demo and clean out to install the kitchen. I mean, some of them mow the grass. They have guys on their team that do a little bit of everything. And what you can do with those types of guys is you can group all of the jobs together. So instead of bringing somebody in to tile the backsplash and somebody in to put in new countertops, we group all of the jobs together, like paint and floors and countertops and hardware and this and that and the other thing. We group it together to where they can bring some guys over here and work for an extended amount of time, and that gives them cost efficiencies. There's not break up and set down time, and then they can just come in here until it's done. Nobody's going to be in their way, and we can get a better price then. And it's not because they're doing it for cheaper, it's because they're able to create better efficiency that way. So this was mostly done by an all-arounder. I don't know what the specific tasks cost me, but I know that as a whole, it cost me around $24,000 for all of the work they did. That's including the material.
This is a genuinely nice rental.
Yeah, thanks, man. From Asher, the cameraman, he says this is a genuinely nice rental. And he does not say nice things, guys. Never says nice things. Total asshole.
Hey.
Oh, I mean, all right, well, I was in the original scope gonna take out one of these closets, and we didn't do it. Oh, this all got painted. That's no nice.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Usually I would be making this video as like a inspection video that I would send to the contractor that we hired for this, but like he did a really good job, so I'm probably not gonna ask him to do anything except for that, because I hate paint on hinges and doorknobs. And I'm not, this must have been like this. There's no way he would have done that. He's like way better than this. Maybe one of his guys did it and he didn't see it. But anyway, I just sent that little picture. You know, it looks like they didn't replace those. Ooh. Oh, I hate it. It's like the ultimate sign of laziness. Yeah. You know, like this is not gonna fly for me either. This overspray. You don't want to be so dang particular that nobody wants to work with you because it's like impossible to get the job done. You're never going to pay them because they're never quite done. And like, you know, yeah, you could look at it like, well, it's the expectation that it's all done nice, but it's like to get every little detail right, you better be willing to pay a little bit more money. Like I want to get just enough done to make it look nice. But there are things that are like the overspray and on the handles and hinges, it's like, come on, man, like you really could have done nicer than that. I feel like, and I'm like really clear about those things being a troubling thing for me. And so I feel like that's reasonable, but there's other little things around that I'm gonna be fine with. And I think there is a balance there. Yeah, it's nice.
It's a nice deck, dude.
I'd say that's a nice little drinking deck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boy. All right. I would have liked to see this attached to the house a little bit. You know, I wouldn't want any like kiddos to like grab at that electrical line. Okay, nice. I don't know what I'm looking for. Just, it looked right though. You know, sometimes you're just looking to see if something seems off. Cool. Great. Neato. Guys. Now you're probably thinking that, aren't you inspecting the house and shouldn't you be checking if all the water works and all the electrical, all the HVAC works? Yes, you absolutely should. But I'm kind of lazy, and before we came here, I sent somebody here to check all that out, and it checks out. Oh!
No.
Some
Come on.
So properties like this are great to get. This is a true cosmetic renovation. That means that there's not a whole lot of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, no structural issues. You just come in here and you make it a little bit prettier. You make sure you get through all the safety and liability stuff, and you know, takes way less bandwidth from you as the investor, because you can basically group all the jobs together, give it to one contractor, and then agree upon payment terms, and then you don't have to come back until they're complete and they call you for payment, and then you come and do an inspection like this, and then you pass it off to, in this case, our property management company. They'll come in and they'll do their own inspection to make sure that all the livability things are up to par, and then this thing will be cash flowing, and that's what you're you're looking for as an investor. The least amount of bandwidth to put into something to start getting a return. Of course, it'd be great if all of the projects were like this, cosmetic as we call it. The thing is, to find these deals is harder than the other ones. It's always easier to find a deal where it needs a huge rehab because a lot of people are scared to take it on. And so, you know, we have a mix between the projects that we do. Some of them are like condemned properties that you'd be scared to go into, and some we luck out and they're just cosmetic rehabs, and we get a good enough deal on the front end where we can make it make sense. The problem with a lot of cosmetic rehabs is, since they're so close to livable or livable already, people want too much money to purchase the property, and then you just can't make the numbers work. But sometimes, for whatever reason, we're able to make the numbers work, and this was one of those.